Good. Let's turn clock from a word in the comments into a weapon in your pocket. Guard the clock, not the ego. Seneca warned that people are frugal with their money, but extravagant with their time. In modern offices, ego is the pickpocket. Ego says, I'm responsive at all hours. I can jump on anything. I'm always available. Stoicism flips it. Choose your exposures deliberately. Here's the math that will sober you up. A 1-hour meeting with 8 people is an 8-hour burn. If you wouldn't casually set fire to an entire working day, don't casually accept hour-long assemblies with no success criteria. The practical move is a daily ritual called time triage. Open your calendar at the start of the day and assign every block one of 3 stamps. Keep directly drives a decision or a deliverable. Shorten can be cut by 30 to 50% if framed tightly. Convert should be async with an artifact. If a meeting is keep, pre-frame it with the 30-min win email and your 1-sentence recommendation. If it's shorten, open with the win question and a countdown on the screen. If it's convert, send a 1-pager and propose office hours for Q&A. That's your first line of defense. Your second line is office hours, controlled availability windows that create a queue and kill random pings. You write this into your Slack profile and email signature. Live windows, 10:30, 11 browse, and 16 draws, 16:30. Outside that, async responses within 24H. Emergencies, page with SEV in subject. Notice the shape. You're not disappearing. You're constructing scarcity windows that protect deep work without making you look precious. Language matters because language is power. When someone DMs, do you have 5 minutes? Your old script was compliance. Your new line, happy to help, so I can do it today. What can we drop or move? If it's not urgent, I'll cover it in my 10:30 office window. You force trade-offs and point to your window. When a leader says, can you hop on a quick call? You answer, I can send a 1-page with my recommendation in 15. If a call still helps, I'm open. Best is 10:30, 11 wow. 9 out of 10 quick calls evaporate when presented with clarity. For status emails that invite politician-length reply threads, you use the one-breath reply rule. 1 sentence that states your recommendation, the risk you're managing, and the next concrete step. People mistake word count for contribution. Your goal is decision density per minute. That's what high-status operators protect. A day built on decisions beats a day built on appearances. Let's stack a simple clock protocol you can test tomorrow. First, pre-block 2 90-minute focus arenas. Earlier is better. Treat them like investor meetings with your future self. Arrange your environment so interruptions cost friction. Notifications off, phone in another room, browser closed. Second, schedule 2 30-minute office windows at the same times daily. Consistency trains your tribe. Third, cap meetings at 25 or 50 minutes, not 30 or 60. That buffer is your rescue time. Fourth, use a standard canned response bundle you can paste in under 5 seconds. The convert to async line, the trade-off line, the time box line, the recap line. Fifth, end every call with owner plus deadline plus next check, spoken aloud and captured in a doc. Finally, do a daily sundown audit. Write 2 bullets. What decision did I drive, and what hour did I protect? This seems small. It compounds like interest. Common errors that make you a time donor against your will. The first is ego-driven generosity, saying yes to prove you're a team player. There's a cleaner way to donate time without training people to take it. Donate artifacts, not hours. I can't join, but here's a template checklist you can use. I'll review your draft asynchronously. The second error is fake urgency. People love the adrenaline of the fire. Train the room to mark severity explicitly. You can seed the culture by using subject tags. FYI, decision, blocker, SEV1, each with a definition in your team doc. Over 2 weeks, people will copy your tags because clarity feels good. The third error is calendar submission. Your calendar is not a court summons. You are allowed to propose new times, convert or decline with alternatives. Line, I'm at capacity to do this well. Options, A, I send a 1-pager today. B, I join Friday. C, I connect you to Dana, who owns this domain. You offered paths instead of a flat no, but you still protected the clock. Micro rituals embed the clock into your body. Use the first 5 rule. For the first 5 minutes of any block, don't context switch, don't check anything, just start the highest friction task. Starting is 80% of overcoming resistance. Use the 2-minute salvage. If a meeting devolves, call a 2-minute salvage line. 2 minutes to reset. What's our win? Who decides? What's the deadline? If it fails, you politely exit or at least fold the waste into an artifact. Use the 20-40 cadence in 60-minute blocks. 40 minutes of deep work, 20 to handle important communications and set traps for future time thieves. And a physical hack. Put a sticky note on your laptop bezel with "Protect the clock, not the ego." You think you'll remember, you won't. Visible reminders shift behavior when willpower fails. Metrics reveal truth without emotion. Track focus hours. Number of 90-minute blocks protected per week. Aim for at least 4. Conversion rate. Percentage of requests you convert to async or artifacts. Aim for 30% plus. Meeting compression. How many meetings finished early because of tight framing? Count minutes saved. Response SLA. Your planned window for replies. Hit 24 hours for non-urgent. When you publish your numbers to yourself weekly, you stop pretending. You become the person for whom time is a managed asset, not a hazy cloud. Quiet status grows from there because people trust the operator who respects clocks. Now Rule 3, where we stop being wishful and start being surgical. Edges with a visible cost. Boundaries without cost are wishes. Boundaries with price tags become rules of the game. In the Stoic regimen, premeditatio malorum, the rehearsal of obstacles, trains you to expect the bill and decide whether to pay it. In the office, the bill is time, scope, or reputation. You make the cost visible so adults can choose like adults. The tactical move is the trade triangle. Any commitment must specify the delivery date, the necessary drops or extensions, and the risk you're accepting. Without those, you're just promising more in the same time, which is a lie with a pretty bow. Let's script it. When the stakeholder says, "Can we add analytics to V1?" your mouth says, "I can ship analytics in V1 by Friday if we drop user profiles or extend by 2 days. Which trade do you prefer?" That small "if" is your edge. When a manager asks you to just take a look this weekend, you say, "I can give it a real look Monday. If it has to be this weekend, I'll drop Tuesday's deliverable and reset the date with the client." Is that the trade we want? Again, edge plus price. When a peer tries to hand you their hot potato, you say, "I want to help. To do that, here's what we drop." That one sentence, "I want to help. To do that, here's what we drop," becomes your spine. You'll use it 100 times this quarter. To make this stick, build a cost table for your team. A simple list of common asks and their price in hours or trade-offs. Add non-trivial analytics, 8-12 hours. Add 1 localization, 6 hours. New integration, 2 to 4 days. Change to core model, 1-2 weeks, plus testing. Post it in the team doc. You're not weaponizing bureaucracy, you're protecting the truth. People respect operators who know their costs. It's the opposite of the nice guy who nods until midnight and then silently fails. The nice guy is loved until delivery day. The edged operator is respected because delivery day is predictable. That difference is your life. Edges are as much nonverbal as verbal. Your cadence should slow when you name a cost. Your voice drops a half step. Place a tiny pause before the word "if." It's the hinge. Keep your face neutral. The room needs to feel that this is not drama. It is arithmetic. If someone tries to appeal to guilt, it's really important to the VP, you repeat, "Understood. To do it by Friday, we drop Y or extend by 2 days. Which trade do we prefer?" Repeat the math, not the emotion. If they keep pushing, you escalate in the cleanest way possible. You write the trade-offs in a doc and ask for a written decision. People lie to themselves in conversation. They become honest when words sit still. A ritual to make edges automatic. The red line. Maintain a short text file with your red lines. Non-negotiables that protect your quality and sanity. Examples: no new scope in final 48 hours before launch, or no meetings during focus arenas except SEV1. Share them with your manager proactively as "how I keep quality high, not my rules." Invite exceptions with explicit cost. We can break a red line if we choose the trade and record it. Red lines aren't walls, they're speed bumps with signs. Build a tally. Times you enforced an edge, times you documented a trade, times you bent one. Aim for a bias toward enforcement. Bending is a powerful move only when it's rare and visible. Let's practice edges in scenes. A senior leader jumps into a thread late and says, Just add export to CSV, can't be hard. Your line. We can add CSV export by Friday if we drop the in-app chart or extend to Tuesday. CSV is 6 to 8 hours to do right with tests. Preference? You just educated without shaming. In a 1-1, your manager asks you to mentor a new hire on top of a heavy sprint. Happy to. What can we descope to protect delivery? Alternative, I do 2 30-minute office hour slots weekly for mentorship. We track progress async. You protected the sprint and offered a structured path. On a cross-team call, someone says, "Can we also?" And everyone nods. You interrupt kindly. To keep quality, we should swap or extend. I'll list the options and costs, then we vote. Without visible cost, also is poison. Metrics for edges. Count explicit trade-offs per week. Aim for at least 3. Edge reinforcement rate. Times you repeated the trade math calmly when pushed. Aim for 100% when challenged. Scope drift delta. Difference between planned and actual scope. Aim to shrink over a month. Post the numbers in your notes. This is your edge ledger. The feeling you're after is quiet relief. You do less, better, with clarity. People notice, even if they won't say it out loud. Rule 4. Whisper authority. Signal over volume. The loudest person often wins airtime. The calmest person often wins decisions. Stoicism under pressure looks like ataraxia, tranquil containment. You're not passive. You're decisive with minimal motion. Tactics. Speak late. Decide in one breath. Ask surgical questions and let silence work. The nonverbal is simple. Chin slightly down, breath through nose, shoulders heavy, elbows on armrests, hands visible but still. The verbal is the one breath verdict. Option B because risk, clock, and downstream load. No ums, no qualifiers, no performative disclaimers. Your cadence is slow enough to force the room to lean in. If your voice is naturally fast, put a pencil between your teeth for 1 minute before the call to reset articulation. It's silly, it works. The speak last rule isn't about theatrics, it's about information. Let others reveal their cards. While they do, you build a map. What's the real issue? Who's attached to what? Where is the friction? Then you glide in with the right cut. Use the try-cut question to steer without exertion. What's our one-sentence success? Frame. What's the cheapest way to test this? Time and risk. Who will own it by name? Accountability. Ask, then allow 3 seconds of silence. Silence is the tax you charge the room for your attention. Pay it, and they'll answer better. If someone tries to drag you into debate, don't duel. Define. We might be mixing 2 decisions. First, do we do it? Second, how do we do it? Let's answer the first. You decompose arguments into decisions. That's authority. Whisper authority in conflict. When attacked, your instinct is to justify. Don't. Ask for terms. To be fair to the decision, what's the criterion you'd use to judge success? Or, what risk are you protecting against? People often attack from fear, not logic. Naming the fear turns enemies into co-designers. If a superior is wrong and dangerous, you craft the safety line. To protect the downside, I'm uncomfortable shipping without X. If you want to proceed, I'll ship and record the risk. I'll also create a rollback plan. You place your flag quietly. You won't sabotage, you won't grandstand, and you won't pretend the risk isn't there. Whisper authority is most visible when you stay principled without noise. Practice drills. The one-breath workshop. Pick a decision at work. Write your verdict in exactly 1 sentence containing action, why, and risk. Read it aloud at half speed, then do the 3-second sync. Ask a question and count 3 Mississippi before you speak again. Then the late entry. Wait until minute 8 in a meeting before speaking. Then land the verdict. If anxiety spikes, pinch your thumb and index finger under the table. One small sensory anchor signals your body your control. You're building a nervous system that does not beg. Metrics. Count decisions delivered in 1 breath. Aim for at least 1 per meeting that needs decisions. Late entry interventions, where you spoke after listening and moved the group. And replays reviewed. Watch yourself on 1.25x speed and note filler words. Reduce by 20% in a month. Your watchword: fewer words, more cuts. Rule 5. Artifacts beat promises. In an attention economy, words evaporate. Artifacts persist and compound. A promise is a wish pinned to the wind. An artifact is a lever you can push later. The hierarchy of artifacts is simple. At the base, checklists and templates that reduce friction. Above that, one-pagers and decision memos that compress context. Above that, dashboards and trackers that render the invisible visible. At the top, playbooks, repeatable sequences anyone can run. You don't need to be a manager to build artifacts. You need discipline to write them. No one argues with a doc that closes loops. Let's build your one-pager template in 90 seconds. Title, goal, one sentence, the win we want. Options, ABC with a single line each. Recommendation, one breath. Risks, 2 bullets. Cost, hours or trade-offs. Owner plus deadline, next check. That's it. Ship it as a doc link, not a PDF, to allow comments. Then your decision memo skeleton. Background, 5 lines max. Decision to make, question in bold. Options, criteria, recommendation, who decides, names, decision and rationale, to be filled at close, owner, deadline. The magic of artifacts is that they turn subjective debates into objectified choices. They also create your quiet portfolio, a folder of leverage that gets you promoted. A practical move, and every meeting with the 3-1 recap. 3 facts decided, 1 next action sent within 2 hours. People will start forwarding your notes to others, and your reputation will travel without you. Another, create the team FAQ you wish existed. How we tag subjects, what SEV1 means, what our edge costs are, what our office hours are. Put it in your Slack channel topic and pin it. When someone asks a question covered by the FAQ, link the doc with a friendly "no." You're training a culture with artifacts, not speeches. The trap to avoid is artifact theater. Pretty docs that dodge decisions. An artifact's job is to reduce entropy. If a doc does not trigger a decision, a behavior, or a metric, it's a diary entry. The second trap is overpolishing. Version 0 can be ugly, ship it fast, then refine. The third is hoarding, keeping your documents private as a control mechanism. You want the opposite. Publish early, earn edits, and watch the room standardize around your templates. That's social proof without self-promotion. Metrics for artifact life, artifact rate, how many useful artifacts created per week. Aim for 1 to 2. Cycle time to decision, time from artifact sent to decision logged, aim to shrink it. Reuse count, how many times others reuse your templates. Genuine flattery you can measure. The identity shift here is massive. You stop begging for recognition because your artifacts speak when you're not in the room. That's whisper authority in ink. Rule 6. Ledger of alliances, deposits before withdrawals. People think relationships are vibes. Professionals keep a ledger, not a manipulative tally sheet, an honest record of deposits you've made and debts you owe, so you can ask cleanly and help consistently. Combine stoic justice, give each their due, with Machiavelli's realism, build power through alliances. Map your ecosystem into 3 roles. Sponsors, senior voices who can say your name in rooms you're not in. Operators, peers who get things done. And gatekeepers, people who control access, budgets, calendars, tooling. You need at least one in each category. Create a simple table. Name, role, what they value, last deposit, next deposit, clean ask you might make in future. Review weekly for 5 minutes. Yes, literally set a timer. Deposits are not compliments, they're useful acts. Solve a small problem ahead of an ask. Send a one-pager that made their decision easy. Cover a late-night deploy so they can be with their kid. Share a template that saves them 30 minutes. Advocate for their work in a public thread. When you do ask, be surgical and tie it to a past deposit. I handled X for you last sprint. Could you unblock Y by Tuesday? Reciprocity isn't blackmail. It's the social physics of work. Be explicit and kind. If they can't help now, record it without bitterness and find another path. Don't make one person a single point of failure in your alliance strategy. A subtle but powerful move. Narrate your deposits occasionally so they register. People forget. By the way, I ran the incident review last night and wrote the draft. Saved us a meeting today. You're not bragging. You're distributing knowledge of where value came from. Another move, elevate others' artifacts. The person whose doc you cite becomes an ally because you increase their surface area of respect. Use their names. Build a habit of writing small thank you notes with receipts. Your FAQ saved my team an hour this week. I used it here. Gratitude that names the win is deposit gold. Common errors, the IOU ambush, showing up only to ask after months of silence. Avoid it by making tiny recurring deposits like a 5-minute weekly "How can I make your week easier?" to one person on your map. The fake favor, offering help that creates more work for them. Always ask, "Would this actually help?" before donating. And the scoreboard argument, bringing your ledger to a conflict as a cudgel. The ledger is for planning, not for shaming. Metrics: deposits per month, at least 6 meaningful ones. Response latency on asks: how fast do allies respond when you request help? Faster is healthier. Sponsor mentions: count times a senior used your name with a positive verb, and cross-team referrals. Times someone introduces you as the person to solve a problem. When the ledger compounds, your projects move with less friction because your name now means relief, not load. Rule 7. Scarcity windows. Controlled availability. This one will change how you enter any room because it reframes you from a commodity to a scarce resource. Abundance of you lowers perceived value and destroys your deep work. Scarcity must be ethical and predictable. You're not playing hard to get, you're hard to distract. The mechanism we hinted at is office hours, but now we layer it. Set fixed windows, 2 daily half hours, same times, a weekly clinic, 60 minutes, 1 theme, first come, first served, and a monthly deep dive lottery, 1 45-minute session to unblock a gnarly problem. Announce them where your tribe lives and keep them religiously. Between windows, set your status to heads down, replies 16:30, and mean it. Give people a fast emergency lane with clear criteria. Use SEV1 in subject for production issues or safety risks. Anything else routes to the next window. You are building operational trust. They always know when they can reach you and how, and you always show up at those times. Combine windows with batching. Keep a running queue doc called to answer at 10:30:16 wow. When a ping arrives, copy-paste it into the queue and return at the window. People will learn to wait because they get higher quality answers when you're not fractured. If someone insists on instant access, offer them the scarce thing you actually sell: results. If you need fast replies, we can reduce my deep work commitment. The trade is slower delivery. Which do you prefer? That line resets incentives. Most sane people will pick delivery. The common fear is, I'll look unhelpful. You will look helpful with structure, which is the only help that scales. You also demonstrate self-respect, which is contagious. And for your manager, present scarcity windows as a performance protection plan. 2 daily office windows to increase response quality and protect 2 deep work blocks. I'll report decision density weekly. Managers appreciate operators who manage their energy like a budget. Metrics: interruption rate, pings hour outside windows, aim to reduce. Window throughput, issues solved per window, track and improve. Depth hours, deep work blocks hit. Quality delta, subjective but real. Rate the quality of your responses when you answered inside windows versus distracted. Aim for a noticeable improvement. Old cultures worship responsiveness. New cultures worship reliability. Be the priest of the new. Rule 8. Asymmetric yes, say no to low leverage. The enemy of a career isn't the villain. It's the infinite list of good things you could do that cannibalize the great things only you can do. A stoic, amor fati attitude accepts responsibility for your portfolio of decisions. Your tool is a yes filter with 4 gates. Gate 1, irreversibility. If wrong, is it easily reversible? If yes, bias toward a small experiment. If no, demand better data or decline. Gate 2, asymmetry. Does upside massively outweigh downside? If yes, proceed. If it's even or negative, pass. Gate 3, edge fit. Does this use your unique edges, skills plus reputation, or can anyone do it? If anyone can do it, delegate or template. Gate 4, option creation. Does this create new options later, skills, allies, artifacts, or trap you? If trap, decline. Turn the filter into language. When asked for a mediocre committee seat, appreciate it. Given the even upside and the recurring time cost, I'll pass so I can protect delivery on X. Happy to contribute an artifact you can reuse. When asked to give a talk to a random group, if we can align this to Y outcome and I can reuse it as a template for the team, yes, otherwise I'll pass. When offered a project with prestige but no autonomy, I'm interested if we can set success criteria I own and a clear decision cadence. Without that, it's theater. so I'll pass. You don't need to say theater aloud, but you can say, without clear ownership and cadence, I can't promise real impact. Replace no with conditions that force the room to clarify value. Yes, if we drop X for Y impact. Yes, if we make it reversible. Yes, if we codify the decision cadence. If conditions aren't met, the requester either upgrades the ask or self-eliminates. Your calendar becomes a museum of high-leverage bets. Beware the martyr loop. I'm the only one who can do this. That's often a lie wrapped in flattery. If it's true, document it into an artifact and train someone. Or you are the single point of failure, which kills Rule 9. Beware the flinch of approval seeking. The micro yes you say to win warmth. The warmth fades. The debt stays. And beware the someday trap. Accepting a commitment thinking future, you will be stronger. Future you is you with slightly less sleep. Metrics yes ratio, percentage of requests you accept. Aim to reduce and improve leverage per yes. Leverage score per yes. Rate 1.5 on impact versus time. Aim for 4+ average. Decline clarity. Did you provide a helpful alternative or artifact with your decline? And post-decision review. After 30 days, was the yes worth it? Keep a ledger. Adjust your filter. This transforms the fog of busyness into a portfolio you can manage like an investor. Rule 9. Optionality over theater. Status theater is a costume that melts in heat. Optionality is armor that bends but doesn't break. The Stoic autarkia, inner sufficiency, translates here to external redundancy and internal skill. Build so no single person, platform, or plan can end you. Tactically create options in 4 lanes: skills, assets, alliances, and escape hatches. Skills. Maintain 2 rare adjacent skills that cross-pollinate, e.g., a product sense, plus data scripting, design taste, plus prototyping, legal literacy, plus negotiation scripts. Every quarter, pick 1 micro skill to level up 20 hours. Assets. Document your playbooks, templates, code snippets, and negotiation lines into a personal library. Name it, version it. That's your quiet IP. Alliances. We covered the ledger, now extended across teams and outside your company. 3 relationships at arm's length you could call if you needed a bridge. Escape hatches. An emergency plan if your current path collapses. Your V1 plan to get cash in 90 days. The 2 teams inside your org you could transfer to. The consulting offer you could make with your artifacts. Optionality isn't cowardice. It's courage on a longer time horizon. People addicted to theater need constant validation, and thus constant crowds. People built on options can sit in a quiet room and pick the path with the best ratio of freedom to cost. Practice by shipping V1 plus rollback plans. I'll own the outcome. To de-risk, I'll ship V1 Thursday with a toggle to revert. That line makes you the safest person in the room. Bold and reversible. You reduce the fear that paralyzes groups, and fear reduction is status. Optionality also means owning your calendar and cash flow basics. Keep a runway for your life so you never negotiate with fear. If you're early career, runway might be as simple as reducing recurring expenses and building a small emergency fund. If you're later, runway is political capital inside the org. Artifacts delivered, allies cultivated, leaders who trust your judgment. Both let you say the clean no when theater knocks. You won't always get it right. Sometimes you'll choose theater because it's tempting. That's fine. Do it with eyes open and a timer. Metrics. Option delta. Number of new options created per month. Skill, asset, alliance, escape hatch. Aim for 2. Single point of failure score. List your dependencies. Reduce the top 1 each quarter. V1 rate. Percentage of projects shipped with reversible first versions. Your identity shifts from person in a role to operator with a portfolio. That identity is anti-fragile. Let's stitch the 9 rules into one operating system with concrete daily loops. Morning. 5 minutes of time triage and 2 focus blocks booked. Before the first meeting, claim the frame with the win question and the decision owner deadline doc open. Midday, office hours window, batch pings. Convert as many as possible to artifacts. Afternoon, protect your second focus arena. Say asymmetric yes to 1 high-leverage ask and decline 2 low-leverage ones with helpful artifacts. Evening. Write the 3-1 recap for key calls. Log deposits in your alliance ledger. Tally metrics, frame claim rate, drift minutes saved, decision density, artifact coverage, focus hours, explicit trade-offs, whisper decisions in one breath, window throughput, yes ratio, option delta. You don't track all of them forever. You track enough to push behavior. Improvement doesn't come from slogans. It comes from numbers you can see. Now a cinematic application. Imagine next Monday. You walk into the weekly cross-functional. Before anyone performs, you claim the frame. To make this a win in 30, I propose we decide A-B, name one owner, and set a date that respects downstream load. Any other must-haves? People breathe. You run the decision owner doc deadline doc while the group talks. The loud voice derails. You time box. 2 minutes on that, then we decide. You whisper a verdict in one breath when asked. After the call, you ship the 3-1 recap. 2 hours later, a VP pings you for a quick call. You reply with the one-pager offer and your 10:30 window. They choose the one-pager. That evening, you log a deposit by highlighting a partner's artifact in a public thread. You've just practiced 5 of the 9 rules in one day without fanfare. You might be thinking, sounds strict. Won't I come off rigid? Only if you don't trade. Edges with visible cost invite choice. Office hours with a fast emergency lane invite trust. Whisper authority with a rollback plan invites safety. The combination reads as calm, competent, generous with structure. That's magnetic. And yes, there will be rooms where noise is currency. You can't fix every culture, but you can be the person others forward to when they're tired of drowning. Power is rarely grabbed in those moments. It's handed to the calm person who simplifies the game. A few advanced plays for when you're ready. The ghost chair. In heated debates, ask, if the customer were in the room, what would they ask? Then answer with their voice. This steals oxygen from ego and returns it to purpose. The black box. When a project fails, you run a no-blame review with 2 columns, mechanical, process, and human, incentives, and produce an artifact with 2 new guardrails. People remember the person who turned pain into a playbook. The shadows to signal. Record your own meetings, if allowed, and review at 1.5 Bex with a notepad asking, where did we drift? What one line would have rescued us? Then write that line and tape it above your desk. The dojo is boring. The duel is exciting. Train in the boring so the duel feels like a short speech you've said 100 times. Let's do a 7-day micro-challenge spanning all 9 rules, so this video becomes muscle memory. Day 1. Run the frame play in every meeting. Open with, what would make this a win in 30 minutes? And create a decision owner deadline doc live. Post your frame claim rate at day's end. Day 2. Guard the clock. Block 2 90-minute deep work arenas, set 2 office hours windows, and convert at least 1 meeting to a one-pager. Day 3. Edges with cost. Say the line, I want to help. To do that, here's what we drop, at least once. Write the cost table for your common asks. Day 4. Whisper authority. Practice one-breath verdicts in 2 meetings. Ask the tri-cut question and let silence work. Day 5. Artifacts over promises. Ship 1 one-pager and 1 3-1 recap. Create a team FAQ stub. Day 6. Ledger of alliances. Map sponsors, operators, gatekeepers. Make 2 deposits and 1 clean ask. Day 7. Scarcity plus asymmetric yes plus optionality. Announce your office hours. Decline 1 low-leverage request with a helpful artifact, and create 1 new option, new template, micro skill plan, or escape hatch step. At the end of day 7, tally metrics, focus hours, conversion rate, explicit trade-offs, decision density, artifact rate, deposits, window throughput, yes ratio, option delta. Take a photo of the tally and set it as your lock screen for a week. Identity follows evidence. To land this with a final identity reframe, you're not a title, you're a system. The system you run determines your status more quietly than any speech. The 9 silent rules aren't hacks, they're an ethic. Claim the frame early so the game is playable. Guard the clock so your work compounds. Draw edges with price tags so grown-ups can choose. Speak softly and cut cleanly. Replace wishful promises with artifacts that travel. Keep a ledger because alliances like muscles weaken without training. Build scarcity windows so your best work survives. Say yes only to asymmetry. Keep options alive so you can move without begging. Practice this for a month and watch how the room changes. Not because you changed other people, but because you changed the contract with yourself. If this hit, prove it publicly. Comment frame if you'll claim the frame in your next meeting, clock if you're setting office hours, and edge if you'll say, I want to help. To do that, here's what we dropped this week. Share this with one colleague who keeps drowning in meetings. Be the ally who gives them a ladder. And if you want more field-grade scripts, subscribe. Next week I'll break down live viewer meetings, rewrite your lines in real time, and give away the one-pager template we used today. Quiet power scales, noise burns out. Choose your economy.